inspect is one of the essential commands required for Docker container management. Docker container inspect or Docker inspect command is used to retrieve detailed information about a running or stopped container in Docker. The output is written in JSON format and contains extensive details about the container, including its configuration, state, network settings, and more. The syntax of Docker container inspect alias Docker inspect is we should specify, we can specify options, okay, and then specify container name or ID. Okay, this is the syntax of Docker container inspect, where we can specify options along with our container name or ID. Okay, now let's see some example usages using Docker container inspect. I'm going to use Docker inspect instead of Docker container inspect from here onwards because both are same. Okay, Docker inspect, and then let's say if you want to inspect a specific container. Okay, if you want to inspect a specific container, you can specify or you can use the command docker inspect and then specify the name or ID of the Docker container. Before that, let's see the containers running in our Docker. Okay, Docker ps-a. If you see, so currently there are 3 containers running inside our Docker. So let's say if I want to inspect the details of this container with ID, let's try the command now. I just now copied the ID of the container. Now Docker inspect and then specify the ID here. Okay, now press enter. This command displays the full JSON object containing the details of the container. Okay, let's press enter. You see now we got the output in JSON format, which is giving all the information about the container. Where if you see, we have a network settings, and then we have a verticals, we have a ID, we have a mounts, we have a config information. Okay, this is all about the container information. So using Docker container inspect, you can get the full information about the container, okay, by providing container name or container ID. Okay, let's say let's say if you want to inspect multiple containers at a time. If you want to inspect multiple containers at a time, you can do that by listing container names or IDs. Let's say, for example, as I said earlier, we have total 3 containers running inside our Docker. Okay, inside our Docker. Now, let's say if I want to take or inspect the details of all these 3 containers, I can simply use the command Docker inspect and then copy the IDs one by one, paste it here, space, copy, paste it here, and then space, copy, then paste it here. So now here I'm giving the IDs of 3 containers to inspect the details. Now press enter. See, now we got the details of all the 3 containers. Okay, all the 3 containers. This is about if you want to inspect multiple containers at a time. Okay, let's say we have another example usage. Let's say you want to filter a specific piece of information. You want to filter a specific piece of information of a container. Then in that case, you can use -- format option. In that case, you can use -- format option. Let's see one example. Let's say I want to list or I want to know the IP address of this container. IP address of this container. In that case, I can use Docker inspect and then specify the -- format option -format equals to, and then single quote, curly braces. After that, dot network settings dot IP address. Okay. After that, two curly braces again, single quote. After that, specify the ID of the container. Okay, ID of the container. Okay, I have to correct the inspect command here. Inspect spelling. Sorry, inspect. Okay, now let's press enter. Now let's press enter. This command should list or should retrieve the IP address of the command of a container with ID. This okay. Now press enter. Now if you see, this is the IP address of our container. Okay. So in this way, you can retrieve the specific information of a container using -format option. Okay, using -format option. See why I used network settings or IP address here is, see, the config information of container is coming in JSON format, right? So let's say docker inspect ID is container ID is this one. Copy and then paste it here. Now if you see here, so from network settings, I simply retrieve the IP address of the container. So that is the reason I used, see, I went into the network settings node. From there, you can see the IP address of the container. Okay. If you see here, this is the IP address. So to retrieve the IP address, I used network settings dot IP address. Okay. And the first dot represents the root element. Okay. From root element, go to the network settings. From there, go to the IP address. So in the similar way, let's say if you want to retrieve uh, a gateway, you can simply use the same command and then replace that IP address with gateway. Okay, replace that IP address with gateway. Let me do that, gateway, and then press enter. See, now we got the gateway as well. So in the similar way, if you want to access any piece of information or if you want to filter any piece of information, you can use -format option. Okay, -format option to filter the specific information. Okay, so if you look at the output of inspect, it's a JSON format where the common fields are like networks, okay, network state of the container, and then ID. If you see here from the top, let me show you from the top. These are the common fields in the output. Okay, these are the common fields in the output. You see here, from here, yeah. So ID of the container, and then state. What is the state of container, whether it's running or not, and then if you see image, what image is used to create the container. After that, container name. Okay, container name. So host config information, and then network settings. Okay, if you come down here, mounts of container, configuration information about the container, and then network settings. So these are the common fields in the output. Okay, these are the common fields as well as important information about the container. Okay, this is about Docker container inspect command. Okay, which is used to retrieve detailed information about container. The alias for Docker container inspect is Docker inspect. Okay, these both Docker inspect as well as Docker container inspect are same. Okay, this is about Docker container inspect command. If you like the video, please do subscribe and share with your friends. Thanks for watching. I will see you in the next video.